Most men think women cheat because another man is better, stronger, richer, or more exciting. But in most cases, that is not where it really starts. I want to talk about this calmly, because I know this topic carries a lot of weight. If you have been through it, it probably hurt more than you expected. Not just the betrayal, but the confusion, the questions that kept you up at night. What did I miss? When did it change? Was I not enough? I am not here to blame you, and I am not here to blame her either. I just want to slow this down and look at it clearly. Cheating is rarely the beginning of the story. It is usually the outcome of something that faded quietly long before anyone said a word. In many cases, the relationship did not break in one moment. It drifted. The connection softened. The emotional closeness slowly thinned out. And sometimes, that distance grows so quietly that you only notice it when something finally snaps. By the time cheating happens, the real shift may have already taken place weeks or even months earlier. That is the part most men miss. They focus on the other man, but the real story often begins with emotional disconnection. And if we are honest about that, we can understand it better, without turning it into anger or shame. People do not usually wake up one morning and decide to betray someone they feel deeply connected to. That is not how it works most of the time. Cheating rarely starts with a sudden impulse. It usually starts with distance, and that distance does not arrive loudly. It grows quietly, slowly, almost politely. At first it feels small. She seems a little distracted, a little less present. Conversations that used to flow now feel shorter. Her eyes are on her phone more often. Her energy feels somewhere else. You tell yourself she's just tired, busy, stressed, and sometimes that is true. But sometimes it is the beginning of something shifting underneath the surface. Emotional distance is subtle. It shows up as less openness. She shares fewer details about her day. She stops asking about yours with the same curiosity. The warmth in her voice becomes neutral, not hostile, just neutral. And that neutrality can be more painful than anger. Because anger at least means there is still emotion there. Neutral means something is fading. You start to feel like you're sitting next to her, but not really with her. The laughter is lighter, the silence is heavier. Then comes the private space. Not privacy in a healthy sense, but a quiet separation. Inside jokes you're not part of, conversations you do not hear about, new interests she does not feel the need to share. A part of her life begins to exist without you, and you're not directly pushed out. You just slowly stop being invited in. This is where many men get confused. They look for dramatic signs, big fights, clear rejection. But emotional disconnection rarely announces itself like that. By the time cheating happens, she may have already left emotionally, not officially, not with a speech, but in her heart, the bond loosened long before the action followed. And understanding that does not mean you blame yourself. It just means you start paying attention to the deeper layer of connection, not just the visible behavior. There is another layer that is harder to see, and it takes honesty to admit it. Sometimes the relationship was not built on a deep emotional connection in the first place. Sometimes she was not there for your heart. She was there for what you provided: stability, comfort, calm presence, help with bills, a place to stay, someone steady after chaos. None of these things is bad. In fact, they are good qualities, but they are not the same as being chosen from the heart. In the beginning, it can still feel real. She smiles. She appreciates you. She says you are different. She feels safe with you, and maybe she truly does feel safe. But safety is not always the same as desire. Comfort is not always the same as deep attachment. If you pay attention, you might notice a pattern. She is warm when you are useful. She is affectionate when you are solving something, when you are helping her through stress, when you are planning, paying, fixing, or supporting. In those moments, she feels close. But when you need emotional closeness, when you need reassurance, when you need her to lean in, the energy shifts. She becomes tired, busy, not in the mood. You start feeling like your needs are heavy, while hers are natural. That imbalance grows slowly. You give more, she receives more, and the bond does not deepen the way you expect it to. This is the quiet realization that hurts the most. You were not dating her heart. You were dating the role you played in her life, the provider, the stabilizer, the safe option. And again, this is not about calling her evil or manipulative. Sometimes people attach to what helps them survive, not to what they truly love. They stay because it makes life easier, not because their heart is fully invested. If a relationship becomes transactional, it starts to run on exchange instead of connection. As long as the exchange works, things feel fine. But when the emotional part is missing, the structure is fragile. And once someone feels they no longer need what you provide in the same way, the attachment can weaken quickly. Seeing this clearly is not about resentment, it is about awareness, because you deserve to be chosen for who you are, not just for what you offer. Sometimes the timing of a relationship matters more than we realize. There are moments when a woman comes into your life already carrying pain from someone else. Maybe she just left a long relationship. Maybe she was betrayed. Maybe she felt ignored or unappreciated. When you meet her, she seems calm, soft, grateful for your presence. She tells you she is tired of drama. She says she just wants peace, and you give her that. You become the safe place, the quiet after chaos. You listen. You do not play games. You show consistency. For her, that feels like relief. Being around you lowers her stress. Your stability feels grounding, and in that season, she may genuinely care about you. But what she's attached to is the safety, not necessarily the deeper bond that grows from shared passion and long-term vision. As time passes, something begins to change. She slowly heals. Her confidence returns. The pain from the past relationship fades, and with that healing, her energy can shift. The calm she once needed may start to feel ordinary. The stability that once felt like rescue may now feel routine. You might notice her becoming more restless, more curious about the world again, not because you failed, not because you were lacking, but because the role you played was tied to a chapter in her life that is now closing. This is the part that many men take personally. They think, if I gave her peace, why does she not value it more? If I treated her well, why does she seem distant now? The answer is not always betrayal or deception. Sometimes it is timing and attachment patterns. You were there during her recovery. You helped her stand up again. But you were not the destination. You were the place she rested. That does not make you foolish. It does not make her a villain. It simply means the connection was built around healing, not around a shared long-term foundation. And once the healing was done, the attachment shifted. Understanding this can remove some of the bitterness. You were not wrong. You just were not the final chapter she was meant to stay in. Now we need to look at something gently, without blaming yourself, because this part is not about shame, it is about awareness. Many men, especially good men, respond to distance by trying harder. They become more available, more patient, more forgiving. If she pulls away, they lean in. If she seems upset, they explain more. If she questions the relationship, they try to reassure her again and again. The intention is pure. You do not want to lose her. You want to fix what feels fragile. But here is where something subtle happens. When you are always available, always ready to respond, always ready to drop everything for her, you slowly remove the tension that creates value. When you forgive every time without change, when you accept behavior that hurts you just to keep the peace, you teach her something without saying it. You teach her that you will stay no matter what, that there is no real risk of losing you. And people, not just women, struggle to value what feels guaranteed. It is human nature. When something feels permanent and unshakable, we stop handling it carefully. We stop protecting it. This does not mean you should play games or act distant on purpose. It simply means that respect grows where there are boundaries. Respect grows when someone knows their actions have weight. If you are always explaining yourself, always trying to prove you are good enough, always calming her moods like it is your job, you slowly move out of the role of partner and into the role of emotional employee. You start managing the relationship instead of living in it. And deep down, that shifts the balance. She may not even realize it consciously. But she feels that you are afraid to lose her. And when someone senses that fear, the dynamic changes. Love does not die because you care too much. It dies when there are no consequences for disrespect. If cold behavior is rewarded with more attention, it continues. If distance is rewarded with more chasing, it grows. Not because she is evil, but because patterns repeat when they are tolerated. This is not about becoming harsh or controlling. It is about quiet strength. It is about being willing to say, This does not feel good to me, and meaning it. It is about being able to step back instead of chasing. When a woman knows that you respect yourself enough to walk away peacefully, something shifts. There is a healthy pressure there, not fear, just awareness that you are not owned. Self-reflection here is powerful. Ask yourself calmly, was I trying to earn love by overgiving? Was I staying silent about things that bothered me because I did not want conflict? Was I afraid that setting a boundary would push her away? These questions are not meant to judge you. They are meant to help you grow. Because real connection is not built on constant reassurance. It is built on mutual respect. And respect requires limits, not endless availability. If it already happened, this is the moment that really tests you, not just your heart, but your character. The first wave is shock, then anger, then the urge to fix it fast. You might feel like you're about to lose everything, and your body reacts with panic. That panic is what you have to manage. Because what you do in those first days matters more than you realize. Let me say something clearly. Cheating is a decision. It is not an accident. It is not something that just happened because of the weather or a bad mood. It is a choice, and that choice is not your fault. You can reflect on your part in the relationship later, but betrayal belongs to the person who made it. Do not carry guilt that is not yours. Now here is where many men lose themselves. They beg. They promise to change everything. They compete with the other man as if they are auditioning for their own relationship. They send long emotional messages at 2 a.m. trying to explain their value. They collapse in front of someone who already stepped outside the bond. I understand the urge. You want to save what you had, but begging does not rebuild respect. Competing does not restore dignity, and emotional essays rarely change a decision that was already made in silence. Your reaction after betrayal determines whether you keep your self-respect. That is the real crossroads. You cannot control what she did. You cannot control how she feels now, but you can control how you stand. The mature move is simple, even if it feels hard. Get clarity once. Ask direct questions calmly. Listen to the answers without arguing every detail. Then set a boundary once, not 10 times. Not with threats, just clear and steady. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept. After that, observe actions, not tears. Tears can come from regret, but they can also come from fear of consequences. Words are easy in emotional moments. Behavior over time is what tells the truth. If you choose to walk away, do it with quiet strength, not revenge, not drama. If you choose to stay, it cannot be under the same conditions as before. It requires change, accountability, and consistency. Remember this, it is not your fault that someone betrayed you, but your response is your responsibility. This is where you protect your future self. Stay grounded, breathe, move with dignity. That is how you keep yourself intact, no matter what decision you make next. Prevention does not mean becoming paranoid. It does not mean checking phones or controlling someone's every move. It means building a life where you are steady on your own feet. The strongest position in any relationship is not control. It is independence. Do not make her the center of your emotional world. Love her, care for her, enjoy her presence. But do not build your entire stability around her moods. Keep your own direction. Have goals that matter to you. Maintain your friendships. Spend time with people who knew you before the relationship. Keep growing in your work, your health, your purpose. When your life has structure and meaning outside of her, you show up differently. You're not clinging, you're choosing. And there is a big difference between those two energies. Also pay attention to how you respond to distance. Do not reward cold behavior with more effort. If she pulls away, you do not need to chase harder. Sometimes the strongest move is to match energy calmly, not to punish, not to play games, but to protect your balance. When someone feels that your presence is steady but not desperate, respect naturally grows. Be willing to walk, calmly, not angrily. Walking away does not mean you hate her. It means you respect yourself. It means you understand that love without mutual presence cannot survive. A woman can only treat you like an option when you are afraid to lose her. Fear shifts the balance. Peace restores it. At the end of the day, this is about becoming grounded. Do not fight to be enough for someone who is not emotionally present. Become the kind of man who does not have to hold anyone in place.